Good morning, Unity Spiritual Center in Westlake, Ohio. Today is Sunday, January 25th. Let us begin with that discipline, with that spiritual technology, if you will, which we call prayer. Take a deep breath with me. Take a deep breath with me. If you're comfortable doing so, allow the eyes to close. We do this that we might come into a greater seeingness than that which is allowed by the senses. Those eyes that would speak to us of separation, of limitation, partiality. We close the eyes that we might open the inner vision that knows no such obstructions then. There is one thing happening here today, and it is the isness, it is the beingness, it is the very life which we choose to call God. It is the only thing happening here today, for it is the only thing possible. It is the ground of all being. So today I entertain a new, bold, audacious idea, and that is that if God is the only thing happening here, then I must be part of it. But I must not be so arrogant as to consider that I would stand outside of the ground of all being. And so today, I find a new hope. I find a reawakened faith, knowing that whatever is the nature of this that we call God is indeed the nature of me. I take heart knowing that the very wisdom of the universe is present, fully alert, fully awake, fully available in me. That the life, that the harmonizing love of the universe is alert, alive, available in me. I delight in the suggestion that there's so much more to life than I've seen, and that there's so much more to me than I've known. So taking another breath, I allow space for such an idea to have its way with me. And if you're like me, this gives rise to a sense of relief, a spirit of gratitude, knowing that that which is within me and that within which I am is enough. God is. I am. So I give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together. Together in one song. Come together, from different worlds we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are whole. I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song, together in one song, together in one song.
Although today we find ourselves gathering in a unique setting, Unity's co-founder Charles Fillmore stated, "The spoken word carries vibration through the universal ether." So no matter where we are joining in from, let us raise our vibration and accomplish mighty things beyond physical borders and boundaries. My name is Brianna Haggerty, and it is my honor to welcome you to our spiritual family here at Unity Spiritual Center Westlake. Please drop a first name and a location into the Facebook chat window. We see you and we affirm our full support of your spiritual journey. You may know that even now, a prayer chaplain is knowing the truth of your being on your behalf. Now let us speak together and affirm Unity's mission, vision, and values as we hold these statements of spiritual truth in our minds and hearts and practice them in our daily lives. Our mission. Unity Spiritual Center is a dynamic community empowering all to embrace and express the divine as we share our unique gifts in an evolving world. Our vision: we are love in action, honoring the divine within all. And our core values include spiritual practice, acceptance, community, love, and service. If practices which affirm the values of life, inclusion, and generosity speak to you, welcome. We're glad you're here.
There's a full moon over India, and Gandhi lives again. Who's to say you have to lose for someone else to win? In the eyes of all the people, the look is much the same. For the first is just the last one. When you play a deadly game, it's about time we realize it. We're all in this together. It's about time we find out. It's all of us or none. It's about time we recognize it. There's changes in the weather. It's about time, and it's about changes. It's about time. There's a light in the Vatican window for all the world to see, and a voice cries in the wilderness, sometimes he speaks for me. I suppose I love him most of all when he kneels to kiss the land. With his lips upon our mother's breast, he makes his strongest stand. It's about time we realize it. We're all in this together. It's about time we find out. It's all of us or none. It's about time we recognize it. These changes in the weather, it's about time, and it's about changes, it's about time. There's a man who is my brother, I just don't know his name, but I know his home and family, 'cause I know we feel the same. And it hurts me when he's hungry and when his children cry. Although I'm not a father, that little one is mine. It's about time we realize it. We're all in this together. It's about time we found out. It's all of us or none. It's about time we recognize it. These changes in the weather, it's about time, and it's about changes. It's about time. It's about peace, and it's about plenty, and it's about time. It's about you and me together. It's about time.
Good morning, USC. I am Deb Larson, and I am one of the candidates running for the Board of Trustees. Behind me is beautiful Siesta Key Beach, where Jim and I have been vacationing this week. We have been coming here for over 30 years, and I have been practicing my Unity principles for over 30 years. Some of you may remember that I served on the Board of Trustees from 2014 to 2018. I served 2 years as treasurer and 2 years as president. During that time, together as a community, we manifested the Giving Tree, the Endowment Fund, we renovated the parking lot. This year, as a prayer chaplain, through my more focused prayer and meditation practice, I have become more aligned with my higher self and spirit. No one is more surprised than I am that I am running for the board, but I've been divinely guided. My white stone word for the year is bold. In every prayer, I talk about saying yes to life and stepping out in a bigger and bolder way. So that still small voice within me has been talking to me and telling me that I too need to step out in a bigger, bolder way and sharing my gifts and talents with the world. Well, it didn't take me long to realize that my world is Unity Spiritual Center. I love God, I love Unity, and I love our community. It would truly be an honor for me to serve on the Board of Trustees. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know with Spirit leading the way that our future is brighter and is more expansive than I could ever imagine. Thank you very much.
I'm John Donitson. I like long walks on the beach, small fluffy dogs, and candlelit. Oh, sorry. Wrong bio. I'm John Donitson. I've been nominated for the Board of Trustees at Unity Spiritual Center. Unity Spiritual Center feels like home. From the moment I walked in, I knew it was the place to be. It changed my life in a way I cannot explain with words. I have never felt so much joy. Sometimes I cry because I'm so full of joy. Everybody deserves to feel that. Unity's existence should continue on for all of humanity. I believe being part of the board would help continue Unity's mission. I have been a police officer for 18 years. I'm currently employed at the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department as the administrative sergeant. I think my experience throughout life and in my various jobs would assist Unity Spiritual Center to continue its mission into the future. I have no experience being on any kind of board, but I do believe I'll be surrounded by people and I will receive the wisdom needed when it's time. I love you all. Have a great morning.
Please join us next Sunday for the annual business meeting. Elect new trustees, review the annual budget, celebrate the past, understand the present, look to the future. All are warmly welcome, although only members may vote. Now, I don't know about you, but what if? Oh, that's a grand game that my mind likes to play. I mean, what if I look to my notes only to discover that my lesson has been magically translated into Chinese? Or maybe I look to my notes only to discover that my pages are in the wrong order. They are unnumbered and nonsensical. Or what if Susan or Jerry, or what if Matthew or Kathy, or better yet, what if some stranger interrupts me to tell me that there's been a recount of last year's vote, and then introduces me to USC's real senior minister, and then hands me the real senior minister's jacket to hang in her new office. Or maybe the real senior minister then asks me to park her car on my way out, and then calls me Robert or Rick. Or what if I open my mouth to say good morning, but completely beyond my control, some jaw-dropping profanity slips out instead? Now that one's actually happened to me. I was a shy young college student, maybe 19. I was desperately wanting to fit in amidst a sea of wealthy benefactors and sponsors. It was at an afternoon tea, and so it was that in my eagerness to demonstrate my comfort in such a setting, I proudly opened my mouth for the first time to ask, "Where shall I sit?" Now, the pride didn't last long, because somehow that combination of my shyness and my eagerness, that combination twisted those words, "Where shall I sit?" into a profanity that I'm quite certain is recalled with laughter in polite society to this day. Where shall I sit? What if I discover that something somewhere important is unzipped, and that it's too late to do anything about it? What if I have lettuce in my teeth? What if I forgot to wear a shirt? What if? I suspect that each of us within the sound of my voice can relate to the what if game. Even if we don't use the actual words, each of us can relate to the what if game. Each of us can relate to that inner critic who would have us believe that the very gifts of God, which have found receptivity in us, are inadequate to fulfill their promises. I imagine each of us can relate to those outer critics who would chain us fast to our respective histories, to our predictable roles. Each of us can relate to those smallest of minds, which would sway us from any but the smallest of dreams. It was Ralph Waldo Emerson who might speak into such a tendency with his encouraging words, and I quote, "The fact that I am here certainly shows me that the soul had need of an organ here. Shall I not assume the post? Or shall I skulk and dodge and duck with my unseasonable apologies and vain modesties and imagine my being here impertinent?" Now, I think Emerson just as easily could have said, if we want to play the what-if game, well then let us play it to demonstrate the richness, not the smallness of the possibilities which surround us. Let's play it to enliven the deep, not the meager resources which have been placed within us. This applies to our incarnations as individuals, and it applies to our existence as communities. As communities, the what-if game often sounds something like this. Oh, what if the money runs low? What if a venture doesn't work? What if that person, you know the one, what if that person gets all bent out of shape? I imagine these questions sound familiar to you. But as we approach this new year together, our second year together, let me ask you a few new questions. What if the gifts of God, which have found receptivity in us, are more than adequate to fulfill their promises? What if our futures are completely unfettered from and unlimited by our respective histories? What if the infinite, what if the God of my understanding is just as pleased by big dreams as it is by little dreams? As we approach this new year, my invitation to you, my invitation to us is to play the what-if game boldly. My invitation is for us to play the what-if game with such a gusto. When the final scores have been tallied, even anthropomorphic God himself would wipe the sweat from his brow and say, "Wow, great match, you. Wow, USC, great match." For example, what if Unity Spiritual Center becomes a destination for an adult education program, a program so comprehensive and progressive as to reach back into the principles of our history, even as it reaches out into the practices of other faith traditions, even as it reaches forth into the possibilities of, quantum theory and God particles and all other brands of truth which our evolution has made available to us. Unity co-founders Charles and Myrtle Fillmore themselves, these were open at the top thinkers, empowering other open at the top thinkers. After all, I think they would be quite horrified by any suggestion that theirs were the final words on truth. So from this summer's 12 Powers retreat to Prosperity 1, to Prosperity 2, to the launch of a metaphysical Bible study group, to a How to Pray Unity workshop, to the launch of this Tuesday's Bible history class, what if USC becomes a destination for an adult education program that seeks to lift spiritual wisdom into harmony with common sense, human intelligence, objective science, and just good old-fashioned mental health? What if that? What if that? What if USC's music program continues to build upon the legacies of Bonnie and Jerry, to include a full band again, a synergistic ensemble, opening us to a brand of inspiration that the intellect alone cannot offer. That is why we have poets and artists and musicians. I hope you know, they speak in what I like to call languages of the soul. It was my cherished friend and teacher, her name was Reverend Mary Omwake, who once said that if you want to know where humanity is heading, well, just pay attention to the artists. Hear their poems, sing their songs, watch their movies. I have to believe a bunch of people who watched Star Trek in the mid-1900s are nodding their heads in agreement right now. On Valentine's Day, you may join me and Matthew for the second annual Chocolate Cabaret evening. Tickets are already selling fast. What if USC becomes a destination for innovative programming to include, well, a pet blessing ceremony? Now that's not so innovative, I hear you thinking. To a Woodstock Sunday, to Black History Sunday, to Memorial Day Sunday, to Pride Sunday, to Grandparents' Day Sunday, and fashion show featuring, are you ready for this, the launch of USC's Rock of Sages Choir. Now we're getting innovative. You might think your life is complete, but I can quite promise you that until you have celebrated those sages, those wisest among us, as they sing and dance from the liturgical libraries of Dolly Parton and Lady Gaga, well, your life indeed is not complete. It's a matter of spiritual principle that we learn how to see those wisest among us, not with eyes of worldly values, but with eyes of spiritual understanding. And Grandparents' Day Sunday issues that precise challenge. What if USC becomes a destination for a small group ministry in which well-trained, well-supported facilitators provide vehicles for countless commonalities, such as being single or female or LGBTQ, countless interests such as gardening, healing, discussing, a small group ministry which provides opportunities for every individual to develop and maintain meaningful, authentic relationships with other individuals, regardless of how many people attend Sunday morning services, even if we get to launch a second service through a metaphysical Bible study group, a young adults meetup, an online community meetup, even a Lily Dale bus trip. What if that? What if USC becomes a destination for interfaith curiosity, conversation, and collaboration? What if a summer program called Interfaith Fridays offers an interfaith panel and a multi-faith, multi-community musical experience called One Voice, and an evening experience called Dinner with Others? I have spoken of this before, maybe even with the support of Rabbi Ted Falcon. What if USC becomes a destination to consider not only the wisdom of Christianity's Easter and Christmas, but also the enrichment of Imbolc and Solstice and Kwanzaa? What if the real purpose, after all, of places like this isn't to retreat from the world hardened by arrogance, but to move into the world softened by humility? The description of Dinner with Others says it this way, and I quote, "It seems that humanity is taking sides. building teams, gathering arms and growing apart, that humanity is creating others with unprecedented vigor and animosity. In our belief that this effective dehumanization of each other, whether that otherness is born of race, religion, orientation, gender, politic, age, or otherwise, is counter to the very evolution of us as a spiritual family, we invite you to join us for dinner with others. Let us rehumanize each other as brothers and sisters at a global table for the greater good of all. The description closes with campier language, and I quote, "All guests will be asked to check positionality with the attendant at the door. All convincing and converting, all self-righteousness and self-importance, all aggressiveness and argumentativeness can be picked up upon exit if desired. Otherwise, leave them. We will happily dispose of them for you." What if USC becomes a destination for radical welcome, for daring inclusion? If you think I can do it, I can't. And if you think we've accomplished it, we haven't. What if we become masters of welcome, so alert to the presence of others that we would never dream of filling every seat at the table with familiar faces, much less turning a seat up to prevent someone from joining us? Welcome is a difficult thing, you see. We think it comes naturally, but it doesn't. We tend to think that just because we have found welcome, that we have found welcoming community, when it usually means that we really have just found our way into a clique. It is great love for each other, you see, that would have us gather in our circles, even as we turn our backs to those without. I have to think that this is why Jesus spoke into the high Jewish dictate to welcome neighbor and stranger. He didn't think people are mean. He knew we become blind. That's why we launched an InReach ministry, to intentionally restore sight where we might have become blind, to those who may have slipped between the cracks. I developed a workshop several years past. I called it the Consciousness of Welcome. And I started this workshop by saying, your ministry has secret codes, unspoken rules, and insider privileges. And if you don't believe me, you could be part of the problem. Occasionally, I find myself thinking of that one leader who responded by saying, "No, we don't," and walked out. I would have enjoyed visiting her community and learning just how they managed that. I, myself, have never reached the end of my blind spots. What if UFC becomes a destination for those in every season and in every circumstance of life? Unity has not always been a place of support for those experiencing lack, for those experiencing illness, for those experiencing grief. What if every holiday season launches with what we've called a remembrance service, as a safe place to address that universal threshold across which all must eventually pass? A threshold which is both an ending and a beginning, a door of sorts which marks one reality from another reality. What if USC became a destination for outreach ministry, pastoral ministry, youth and family ministries, for leadership development, spiritual service, for fiscal foresight, for administrative excellence, all marked by emotional maturity, healthy communication, principled action, inspired innovation, effective teamwork, and creative genius, such as that creative genius that allows you to see me and to hear me right now. What if USC became a destination for a killer book and gift shop? A shop offering ethically sourced items of inspiration and education for spiritual seekers, as well as a place just to connect and converse. A place that returns a portion of its revenues into its greater community to those organizations and initiatives selected by you. What if that? What if USC became a destination for ecological responsibility through its enrollment in Unity's Earth Care commitments and practices? Deep thanks to our youngest trustee for this launch. What if? What if? What if? It was Wayne Dyer who once said something that stuck with me. He said, and I quote, "Motivation is when you get hold of an idea and don't let go until you make it a reality. Inspiration is when an idea gets hold of you and you feel compelled to let that impulse or energy carry you along." So will every bold idea from our what if questions find fulfillment in 2026? I don't know. I don't know. And in a sense, I don't care. Because it's not about that. It's about leaning into the expansive possibilities of that limitless self, whether as individuals or as communities. It is about igniting new fuels, such as courage and faith, to lift us from our stuck places and low states. It speaks to our evolution from a materialistic spirituality in which spiritual awakening points to stuff and things into an evolutionary spirituality in which stuff and things always point to spiritual awakening. In other words, today's invitation to you is to join me in a rousing match of the what if game. The invitation to you is to join me in a rousing match of the what if game, not with Emerson's unseasonable apologies and vain modesties, not with self-condemnation and the false glories of small-mindedness, but in such a way that it might carry us to the very edge of everything we've known and then teach us to fly. Take a deep breath with me, please. If you're comfortable doing so, close the outer eyes. Allow your feet to find the floor wherever you are. I'm imagining something of a light. I'm imagining something of a light emanating from the very center of my physicality, expanding, reaching beyond the illusory edges of self, extending even beyond the boundaries of the building in which I sit. Extending even further until eventually it meets the light that emanates from you. gift it is to know that we are together in love. I have a history. What if I'm not bound by it? I have experiences and statistics. What if I am more than they suggest? I have certain beliefs, fears, arguments. What if there is that in me that would render them powerless? The opinions of the world shout. What if they hold no sway? Over the essential self of me? What if I am an emanation of the one mind that spins universes? Informs geniuses, unfolds beauties, and evolves life. What if that? Is today the day that I play the what if game for the fullness of God? USC Westlake. It is a privilege. It's an honor, and it's a joy to have such a conversation with you. My hope is that such a bold invitation, you'll lean forward with me in a spirit of yes. Let us open this new year in a spirit of wonder, with the question alive in our hearts: what can God do through us today? And so it is. And amen.
I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. One peaceful world. There is a voice within our hearts asking each of us to sing, and you and I can make a choice to bring the earth to harmony, to help each other to be free. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. One peaceful world. When we decide it's time for peace, only love shall we extend. The courage lives in everyone to bring the garden back again. And life will guide us like a friend. We only harvest what we sow, and every seed of love will grow. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. One peaceful world.
I have a few special announcements. Please join any of our small groups. Daily and weekly events are complemented by monthly gatherings, such as Tuesday's Metaphysical Musings Gathering. For all events, please visit the website and register. Adult Education launches this Tuesday with Reverend Richard's introduction to just how and when that collection of poetry, history, prophecy, mythology, song lyric, Jewish wisdom, Christian thought, and social criticism we call the Bible came to be. Context is everything for any serious student, and this class launches that discovery. Please note that both 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock options are available. Interfaith at USC proudly invites all to celebrate the turning of the wheel of the year to the season of Imbolc. This Thursday evening, share rituals, symbols, stories, simple crafts, music, food, and drink as we gather to welcome the return of light to our world. Bring a snack if you like. USC's own Catherine Mangan facilitates. February's Youth and Family Ministries candle sale will support eligible participants in attending events such as the upcoming Spring Teen Great Lakes Retreat. Our goal is to raise $750 for USC's youngest members, and we are grateful for your support. The deadline for February's Giving Tree Dedication Ceremony is next Sunday, February 5th. See Deb Larson or contact the office to discuss how you might honor loved ones, affirm cherished intentions, or preserve those ideals in which you believe, while generating a firm financial base for special projects and needs. And finally, prayer support is available by visiting the prayer tab on the website.
May the long time sun shine upon